this is Glenda, and today I'm going to be making a tall and skinny mold out of corrugated plastic. You can of course buy plastic from the hardware store. However, I'm just recycling a sign from my church that is no longer, useful. And this is what I want the measurements to be that I'm going to mark. I want my soap bars to be 2.5 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall, because of course they're gonna shrink some after they cure. So I'm going to, this sign that I'm using, it measures 18 inches tall. So this is gonna be the length of the mold, because I was watching on another video and it says that it's better to have the length of the mold go along the lines of the corrugated plastic, because it's supposed to be more sturdy that way. So the first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm going to measure at a 3.5 inches mark. Actually, I should start by measuring, 3.5 on both ways. And I'm using just Sharpie to mark where that's going to be, and I'm just gonna mark it on 2 sections of the plastic. So I'm making those 2 marks. This is 3.5, and then I need to do the same from the opposite edge. And I'm gonna do it from the other end as well. So I'm going to make my first line. Now that I have the 2 marks, if you have one of those T-squares rulers, I would think this will come helpful. However, my 3.5 marks happens to be right on one of the lines from the plastic. So I'm just going to align my ruler to that. Alright, so that's my first line. Alright, now that I mark my 3.5 inches here, I'm going to measure the 2.5, that's going to be the width of the soap. And I'm going to mark it as well in a couple of spots on the sign. It does happen to coincide with one of the lines on the corrugated cardboard. So I'm just going to align the ruler to that, and then I'm going to mark it with a Sharpie. Now, if your sign or whatever you're using is, say, white on the bottom or on the back, mine has is both sides, has something. But if yours had a white background, then you will want to be doing the marks here, because this part is going to be the inside. So you will want the white part to be the inside of your mold, and just do the signs, do the markings and the cuttings on the stamp portion of it. So now I need to do the other wall, and it's going to be at 3.5 as well. So I'm going to mark 3.5 in a couple of spots. Alright, so I have my 3 lines, and now I need to create the ones on that end. And this is gonna be at 3.5 as well. So I have it in 2 spots, and I'll do the same for the other end. And I'm also trying to align this edge to this other edge just to make sure everything is straight. Okay, so I think I'm ready to cut now. And I'm using this box cutter, and I'm just gonna have it just a very small part of the blade come out, because I'm supposed to only cut halfway through this, except for this line. This one I have to cut all the way through it, but the other lines I just have to cut halfway so that I can fold it in. And I'm gonna put something to protect my work surface. Alright, so I'm now ready to cut, and I'm going to use the ruler to help guide the blade. And actually here, this end, I want to cut all the way through. So I'm using the longer side of the blade. And it's not easy to cut this though. It's hard. Okay, this section went better. And you want to make pressure on the ruler so that it doesn't move, at least not too much. Let's see. So I'm gonna come to the other side and cut it on this end. I did move the knife when I was cutting, so I don't have a very clean edge. This I'm just gonna have to cut off, maybe with scissors or something. So now what I want to do is I want to cut at all of these other ones, and in this case I only want to cut halfway through it so that I can fold it later inwards. Oh, and I think I'm also supposed to cut from this corner to that corner, and then use the clip binders to hold that. So let me do that as well. So I did the markings on all four corners, and now I'm going to attempt to just cut only half of this. Alright, let's see if I did it. This is not folding. This wants to fold. I guess I didn't do it all the way. Let's see now. Still not folding. Alright, it looks like it wants to start folding, but I'm missing some portions here. Alright, here you can tell that I missed the line, and then I cut in at a different line. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. But I know that this section right here doesn't have any cuts at all. There we go. So I'm just gonna repeat that process with all the other lines, just trying to cut only halfway through it so that this edge is still attached and it works as the inside of the mold. Alright, when cutting these edges, you have to go a little bit slower because you're trying to cut each one of these plastic divisions, and it is a little bit harder to keep the cut straight. Alright, I tried to only go on the top, and that actually went easier. My first one, it was still attached on one end, so I had to like cut it, come back again at it so that it will fold. So now we have this folds this way and that folds that way. So I need to cut in at diagonal so that they can both fold at the same time. See, that one section is not cut, so it's not folding properly. So I'm going to try to cut it. There we go. And this other section is doing the same thing. Here is not cut all the way. I mean, halfway through. Okay. So this is supposed to fold like that. And then on this corner, you put like binder clips to hold it. And the same thing will happen on that end. And that will be the mold. So I'll be making a soap in this mold. And I don't know whether this paint is going to transfer to the soap or not. I hope not. I have an update on that. I learned that paint will transfer to the soap if your sign has something on it. So there are two things that I'm going to do. One is that I made a liner for it, and the liner also helps prevent the line markings on the soap from the corrugated sections. And another thing that I'm willing to try, but I haven't tried yet, is putting tape in the inside of the soap. Initially, like you can see on the screen, I only put tape on the edges to prevent the soap batter from going into the open cells. But I'm going to try just covering the whole thing with tape. I'm not sure if that works, but I'm going to give it a try. Now, the liner that I made it with plastic too, so that it's reusable, because I don't like having to make a liner every time I'm gonna make soap. Now, one more thing that you can do to help it keep it straight is to add a wire, you know, like the wire that you use to actually put these signs on the lawn, and you can put them along the side, in the inside, at the bottom, I think at the bottom, or perhaps even on the top, to keep them straight so they don't bow out or they don't curve. But anyway, that's it. I hope that you like this video, and if you do, give it a try. Let me know how it goes for you. See you next time. Bye.